Dear friends, thank you all for coming today. It's great to have you all here. It's great to be with you again. Over the last few months, since we started our campaign launch in February, the SDP has been visiting homes after home in our constituency. In one of the most frequently asked questions I've encountered is, when is the election? Do you know? I don't. At times I would say to them jokingly, well, you will have to ask the Prime Minister. Would you like to have his mobile phone number? Well, it's strange. In Singapore, we never know when the general elections will be here until it is right at our doorstep. The fact that we have to speculate about the GE, oh, by the way, I just want to say this, that some people seem to have acquired fondness to predict the GE by analyzing the sign. I don't know where they see that from. And they seem to be so good at it, I think they can cut a career out of it. But still, they're all speculation. So the fact that our PM love to play gotcha with the GE dates tells a lot about our democracy, or the lack of it. In our visit to the residents, we distribute a flyer. This one here, I got it right here. And at the back of it, we emphasize three hottest issues that we have counted. Number one, no to 9% GST. Number two, no to 10 million population. And number three, no to the withholding of our CPF saving. And of course, we ended off by saying yes to SDP speaking up for us. The first two no's are pretty straightforward. Who wants to increase GST? Of course not. The second one, who wants an overpopulated island that is already crowded as it is? Of course not. Let me, however, clarify the third no. I'm not saying that we are saying no to CPF. CPF is a good thing if you go back to the original ideas. Isn't it not a bad idea for us to put aside some money so that we can use them in future for our retirement? Of course, that's a good idea. What we are against is the broken promises of the PAP government, the trustee of our money. Imagine you place a sum of money into a fixed deposit in a bank for a year, and then at the end of the year, you go to the bank to withdraw your money, and the bank told you, you cannot take your money because they have unilaterally decided that you should extend the term for another year. You would be furious, wouldn't you? Of course you would. Well, that's exactly what the PAP government is doing. What they are doing is they have taken our money, our hard-earned money, and gave us a promise to return it when we reach the age of 55. Then they decided that they would only return it when you are 60. Then they decided, the right age is actually 65. So you keep playing catching up. That essentially breached a custodial agreement, a contract of trust. If the government were a bank, we could sue them and bring them to court. As early as 1984, the late Dr. To Chin Chai, one of our founding fathers, and the ex-chairman of the PAP, no less, for 27 years. Oh, by the way, he was also the one who designed our national flags. That's Dr. To Chin Chai. He said in Parliament, I think fundamental principles are being breached. The fundamental principle is this: the CPF is really a fixed D, like I said, or loan to the government, which can be redeemed at a fixed date when the contributor is 55 years of age. If I were to put this sum of money in a commercial bank, and on the due date, I go to the bank to withdraw the money, and the manager says, I'm sorry, Dr. To, you will have to come back next year. There will be a run on the bank. It is as simple as this. The CPF has lost its credibility, the management of it. This is fundamental. This is the nub of the problem, he said. The credibility of the management's gradual encroachment into the purpose, which is really to provide for retirement. That was 35 years ago, and Dr. To Chin Chai already saw it coming. He knew that breaking their promises on such a fundamental issues will erode the credibility of the government. Did the government take heed? No, of course not. Not only did they raise the minimum age of withdrawal to 60, they later raised it further to 65. This is plain wrong. As if that's not bad enough, they continue to devise ways and means to retain your money, your hard-earned money. So when you reach the age of maturity, when you can withdraw your money, they come up with this minimum sum scheme. Well, the last I checked, for this year, 2019, the minimum sum was pegged at $176,000, meaning to say that you cannot take out those amounts even if you reach 65. And that amount will continue to increase about $5,000 a year, every year. So, when can I get my money out, you ask? Well, the answer is never, because they make sure you never take your money out in one lump sum, at least. You are now forced to use that lump sum to purchase an annuity. You heard of the CPF Life? That's what it is. So you get the CPF Life by force. They make it compulsory. And then you don't see your lump sum anymore. What you get is a small portion every month for the rest of your life. So in other words, you can take a few short trips to Phuket and Bali, but you can forget about your dream to travel around the world. Pretty much that. Well, on a more serious note, I know of people who really wanted that money because they want to help their children's businesses. They want to help their children's schooling. They want to help them with their medical care and whatever that they need to do. But they are not allowed to withdraw those money. You probably have read for yourself in the press a few incidents where people took their own life because of financial desperation. And those financial problems can actually be solved if they have access to their CPF money. What about MediSave, MediShield, the special account? Now, I wish I could walk through with you each and every one of these in detail, but I can't. In a nutshell, they're all schemes that are devised to scheme you of your money. Question: how is it that the government have so much power? The answer is you gave it to them. By giving them unchecked powers, election after election, they have become so fat, so bloated with power that they don't listen to you anymore. It was the same Dr. Toh Chin Chai who says that when the PAP and the opposition were 26-25, the government was sensitive to the issues and was circumspect. When you got a strong opposition, there's consultation. So I say to you, bring those days back to Singapore. Bring those days back when the ruling party do not have a 2/3 majority. Finally, I want you to help me summarize my speech by giving me 3 simple answers. Do you want a 9% GST? Do you want a 10 million population? Do you want your CPF to be stuck forever? Then the solution is to say yes to SDP speaking for you in Parliament. Would you put SDP in the Parliament? I can hear you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.